Hey, we're here with Intro to Mass Comm talking about advertising and the pros and cons of the advertising industry in our society. First of all, what are some of the good things about advertising? Anybody have any positive things to say about advertising? For a lot of you, I know you're trying to get jobs in that business. So
There's that, and it supports the economy.
So it helps the economy. Why do you think advertising helps our economy? How does that work? What does advertising do for our economy?
Without advertising, we wouldn't know about the products to go buy them and stimulate the economy.
So it stimulates our spending money. What other things does advertising do for us? Does advertising educate us, or does it lie to us? What are some of the negative things about advertising?
I think a lot of advertisements can manipulate numbers and get you to believe whatever they want you to believe, so you'll go out and buy their product over someone else's, and even though theirs may not necessarily be better.
Well, do you think most people trust advertising, or do most people have kind of a skepticism about what they see in advertising?
I think it's a 50-50, because sometimes they tell the truth and sometimes they don't.
What are some of the things that you trust? What are some of the things that you think, okay, it's probably true? Or let's start with the easier one. What are some things you don't trust? What are some things you think, yeah, I don't believe that for a second?
All the late night infomercials, because it's usually around the time you're sleepy, not really comprehending everything. So
how about all the weight training, weight loss programs? Those seem a little dubious to me. How about like food?
The food can look really good on the commercial, but then when you see it in person, it's nasty.
Like Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Taco Bell. And actually, Taco Bell looks kind of nasty in the commercial, right? Like I noticed on something recently, the ground beef still doesn't look like ground beef. So it's a little gross. What do you call, I noticed that Chinese restaurants, sometimes they'll have the picture of the food, like that one on Mountain Creek Road, the picture of the food up there, and it's like that's literally what they cooked and took a picture of. It doesn't look all that pretty, but at least you know what you're getting when you order it. How do you think negative advertising, or some of the negative aspects of advertising, was some of the harm that it could do? How about with kids? Do you think advertising can exploit children?
It makes kids want stuff that they really don't need. It just makes them envy other kids for having stuff, and it confuses them too. That's ridiculous.
What was really sad for me was when my kids switched over from watching PBS shows in the morning with no commercials to Nickelodeon with tons of commercials, and it was just this used to be a wholesome, educational time, and now it's still Dora or whatever educational, but it was with Beyblades commercials in between them or whatever, and they're so obnoxious, those commercials. They're just action, and you can't help but get caught up in them if you're a kid.
back to the photo image or photoshopping thing that we talked about.
So earlier we showed that Photoshop manipulation of images. What kind of negative impact does that have on us to always be photoshopping and touching up images?
Girls see photoshopped girls in magazines and on TV and stuff, and they think, I'm supposed to look like that, I'm supposed to be like that. I mean, guys do it too, but
guys, does that affect you? Do you see buff guys on the Axe commercial and you get all self-conscious? But it's kind of seen as more likely to happen in young women, and we kind of all know that too. But should we do something differently based on our understanding that these images are manipulated? Jennifer Aniston doesn't really look that good as she does on the cover of Vogue or whatever, or do we care?
I think if more people knew that what they're actually seeing isn't real, then it would kind of change their opinion about that certain thing they're trying to sell.
All right. Well, thank you for talking with me about pros and cons of advertising. This is it for our Intro to Mass Comm discussion. See you next time.